Demand for new housing is outpacing market supply. I'm Chris Warner. We'll tell you how realtors are trying to keep up.
People around the country rally around the families of victims of the mass shooting in Boulder, Colorado.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The number of available homes in the area is not keeping up with the demand, making it difficult for some buyers to find their dream home. This is KOAM News at 10. 53 new home permits have been issued so far for the 2021 fiscal year in Joplin. That's compared to a total of 45 for the entire 2020 year. As KOAM's Chris Warner explains, despite the new construction, it's just not keeping up with the demand for new housing.
Charles Burt of Charles Burt Realtors says the market in Joplin is good, with many prospective buyers looking for new homes in the area. But that good market is creating a problem.
The problem that we're running up against is that there's just so many buyers out there and not enough listings. Listings have just plummeted, mainly because they've been sold. And so we're in the mid 300s right now as far as available homes, where I would say 5 years ago it was probably 1,200.
That's talking existing homes, which Burt says are like gold right now.
They're into multiple offer situations. Everything that comes on the market has 5 to 10 buyers for it. So it's almost like a bidding situation for any new home. So I don't think I've ever remembered that, and I've been in the business 51 years.
However, the lack of available homes has led to a boom in another industry.
Because of the fact that people can't find existing homes, a lot of them are picking the new construction because then they could have it built. The issue there is that, once again, you can only build them so fast.
Joplin City Planner Troy Bolander says that boom comes with its own problem.
Joplin, it is getting tight for residential lots. We do have some residential plats that are coming in and being approved by Zoning Planning Commission and City Council, but the inventory is getting tight in Joplin.
And Burt says there's a problem within that problem.
It's then becoming a problem that our prices have just accelerated. Lumber prices have over doubled in the last probably 6 months to a year, which is amazing. I've never had that happen.
In Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Charles Burt also owns a construction company. Checking in with Doug Heddy now for a first look at the weather. Doug.
Hey, Dow. It turned out it was a decent day. We had a little sunshine during the morning hours, clouds during the afternoon, kind of chilly. Again, 59 for a high, average high is 63, but at least warmer than what we had yesterday. Light showers have been increasing. You can actually see them on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. These are very light, but they will really pick up as we go through the overnight hours. This whole storm system is heading toward us, and you can actually see the rain really increasing down the I-44 corridor toward Tulsa and Oklahoma City. But all this moisture is going to head toward us as we go through the next couple hours. Temperatures a little bit too cool to see severe weather, so we don't have to worry about that. We do have to worry about some moderate to heavy batches of rain. So here's 1 a.m. You can see showers, thunderstorms continue through the overnight hours. Of course, I'm going to break this all down for you here in just a bit.
See you soon. Thanks, Doug. Every adult in Missouri will be eligible for vaccines on April 9th. That same day, Freeman Health System plans to host a vaccine clinic from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can begin registering right now. You can find a link to register in this story on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. The Crawford County, Kansas Health Department is hosting a second dose clinic at the Fairgrounds tomorrow. Again, this is only for people who already got their first dose at a clinic at the Fairgrounds last month. If you need a first dose, you can register with the County Health Department online. A new study has confirmed the antiviral drug remdesivir shortens the duration of illness in people with COVID-19. The study found that to be true even among non-white patients who have a higher risk of severe disease. The study was published in the journal JAMA Network Open. It does not mean that remdesivir is a cure, but the findings do add to evidence that the drug can lighten the burden of the coronavirus. In October, remdesivir became the first drug to get full FDA approval for use in treating COVID-19. 7 in 10 people hospitalized for COVID-19 have not fully recovered 5 months after being discharged. That's according to new research out of the UK. The COVID survivors continued to experience mental and physical health concerns, with 1 in 5 people developing a new disability. The UK-wide study analyzed more than 1,000 people with COVID who were discharged from a hospital between March and November of last year. 5 months later, less than a third of the patients said they were feeling fully recovered, and more than 90% had at least one persistent symptom. Most experienced an average of 9 ongoing symptoms. A new study finds COVID-19 antibodies weaken at different rates, lasting just days in some people, possibly decades in others. A team of international scientists used data from COVID-19 patients to develop an algorithm predicting the antibodies' trajectory over time. Researchers also found people may still be protected with T-cell immunity even when antibodies are low. A group representing cruise lines wants the White House to allow cruises to hit the high seas this summer. The Cruise Lines International Association plans to ask the Biden administration to lift the no-sail order for cruise ships. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issued that order back in March of last year, but the association had already voluntarily suspended all operations. Now they hope the CDC lifts the order in early July. They say their timeline is in line with President Biden's forecast, and they believe the U.S. will be closer to normal. Still ahead, President Biden taps Vice President Harris to deal with a surge in migrants at our southern border. And investigators put their focus on the mental health of the man accused of killing 10 people at a Boulder, Colorado grocery store.
Business.
Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmitt is running for U.S. Senate. Schmitt announced today he's making a bid for retiring U.S. Senator Roy Blunt's seat. Schmitt faces a primary against former Missouri Governor Eric Greitens, a former Navy SEAL officer who rose quickly to become governor before scandal forced him out of office just a year and a half into his first term. Schmitt, in a written release, pushed his conservative credentials and railed against the, quote, radical left. Schmitt was appointed Attorney General after Senator Josh Hawley left the seat to join the Senate. So voters gave Schmitt another term as the state's top attorney in 2020. The Arkansas governor says cities won't be able to enforce their own mask mandates when the state's requirement ends as soon as next week. Governor Asa Hutchinson told reporters he expects Arkansas's mandate to end March 31st, since the state has so far met the requirements for new cases and hospitalizations he set for its end. Arkansas's virus hospitalizations and new active cases continued to drop yesterday. An attempt to override Hutchinson's veto of a bill requiring the state to refund fines imposed on businesses for violating virus restrictions also failed on Tuesday. President Biden has announced Vice President Harris will lead the effort with Mexico and the Northern Triangle nations to tackle a sudden surge of migrants. CBS News has also learned the Biden administration plans to use the Freeman Expo Center in San Antonio, Texas, to house up to 3,000 unaccompanied migrant children and convert the San Diego Convention Center into a makeshift shelter for 1,400 minors. As family and friends of the 10 shooting victims in the Boulder supermarket rampage mourn, sources tell CBS News investigators are now focusing on the suspect's mental health. Nancy Chen has more.
The uncle of 25-year-old Boulder shooting victim Ricky Olds says there is a hole in his family that won't be filled.
We try to fill it with memories.
Olds, who was killed with 9 others Monday in the nation's second massacre in a week, worked at the market for more than 7 years.
She would do anything to make you smile.
62-year-old victim Lynn Murray's daughter spoke out about her loss.
Just looking at her car in the parking lot, I was like, God.
Police say the suspect in custody, Ahmed Alisa, was convicted of misdemeanor assault for beating up a fellow student while in high school in 2018. He said he had been bullied by the student for a year because of his Middle Eastern background. Although dozens of witnesses said the attack was unprovoked, he said he was so angry he had blacked out.
He threatened that he was going to kill everyone, and no one actually took it seriously.
Elisa is expected to make his first court appearance Thursday. As the nation mourns, Colorado Governor Jared Polis and others visited a nearby memorial for the victims, and a procession made its way to honor fallen Boulder police officer Eric Talley, who was killed after arriving on the scene. Officer Talley was transported from the coroner's office to a funeral home. Nancy Chen, CBS News.
If found guilty, the suspect, who faces 10 counts of murder, could end up in prison for life. The St. Louis community loses a hockey legend. Bob Plager is dead after a two-vehicle crash today on Interstate 64. Local police say Plager was rushed to a hospital from the scene but did not survive. The Ontario native was a member of the St. Louis Blues inaugural team during the 1967 season. He suited up for the Blues for 11 of his 14 years in the National Hockey League. After hanging up his skates, Plager still was part of the Blues in various ways, including head coach and special assistant to the general manager. Plager, who ranks 7th in Blues history with 615 games played, was 78 years old. Doug Heddy is up next with his complete forecast. And later, the Crowder baseball team is crushing it being home runs. In sports, we're going to hear from the team about their recent success behind the plate.
Well, it's turned out to be kind of a cloudy, chilly past couple days. Yesterday, mainly into low to mid 50s. Today, we did press 60, and we did get a little bit of sunshine during the morning, which you can see on our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. This is our time lapse of our live tower cam just outside of Seneca, Missouri. But then the clouds really thickened up during the afternoon. I would prefer to be a little bit warmer as we head into the month of April here pretty quickly in a week. But not really today, not tomorrow, but then we start to see some changes. But you can see lower 50s yesterday and then pushing 60 for us today. Upper 40s in our northern counties, everybody else near 50. And we're only going to drop back to about 45 later on tonight. The winds have kind of switched out of the northeast. They're light. They're going to stay light tonight, but rain is going to start to increase. Look at the showers picking up on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. These are very light, but they are increasing. Let's zoom out. Let's get a full look at this storm system. You can see it really stretches across the state of Kansas, then down through Oklahoma and parts of Texas. What I'm really focusing on is the batch across southeastern parts of Oklahoma. That moisture is heading toward us and is really going to be here in the next couple hours. And we're going to pick up some moderate, even some heavy amounts of rain. Now, if you look at the batch out to the west, this is in western Kansas, that's going to be our batch for tomorrow. Once that rolls through, then we look pretty good. As of right now, we just have some very light showers and sprinkles starting to pick up. Again, you can see this in southeastern Kansas, northeastern parts of Oklahoma. And it looks like this is really going to increase at least over the next couple hours. Let's go through time. Look at this batch coming in. So here's midnight, 1 a.m., showers, maybe even a few thunderstorms. There's nothing that's going to be strong. There's nothing that's going to be severe. So you don't have to worry about any strong to severe thunderstorms tonight. However, the ground is saturated, so we don't really need heavy amounts of rain. Once that first batch rolls through, then it's just kind of periods of thunder showers for the rest of the night. But here's 7 a.m. Look how the rain starts expanding again. Some periods of showers, a few thunder showers. This is 10 a.m. We can go through into the early afternoon. Still pretty heavy amounts of rain. Look at our temperatures. We're only in the upper 40s to near 50 degrees, and that is just too cold to get any severe weather here, so we're not going to have any. Here's 2:30 in the afternoon, rain starting to taper off, and then by evening, it's pretty much gone. But our temperatures really don't go anywhere. 45 to start, 50 by noon, at best 53. So it's going to be kind of a raw, nasty, chilly day tomorrow. Clouds start to break tomorrow night. We drop back near 40, and then on Friday, we get paid back. 1, we're heading into the weekend. 2, we're going to push 70. So you can't beat that. So Friday looks great. All right, rainfall amounts out of this next storm system. I think most of us, except our western counties, maybe only a quarter to a half an inch. But most of us are going to be a half an inch to an inch. And there's going to be a few places that get a little over an inch of rain. Something, again, that we just don't need right now. 53 tomorrow, but 70 on Friday, 70 on Saturday. A little bit cooler on Sunday behind a cold front Saturday night, but temperatures look great over the next week.
Yeah, we'll enjoy that weekend in particular. Sunday looks like the best day of the bunch.
Yeah, and it really will be.
Thanks, Doug. Coming up in sports, we're going to hear from the Crowder College Rough Riders on their 11-game winning streak. Plus, NEO Wrestling prepares for another postseason run. Jacob Leonard has that story next.
The Crowder College Rough Riders are one of the best and hottest teams in the country right now, and they're getting it done with the long ball. Sports reporter Danny Terzer has the story.
Behind Crowder's 19-4 record is an unstoppable offense.
We're getting the big swings right now, and that's awesome. But, you know, when the wind's blowing in, we've played some of those games as well and still produce runs. We're a pretty complete offense.
The Rough Riders are on an 11-game winning streak.
Obviously on the scoreboard we've been setting ourselves apart, you know, and we're starting to separate ourselves, you know, win column and all that.
The Rough Riders have scored 10 or more runs in over half their games this season.
We're not much of a small ball group, you know. We're dependent upon guys having good two-strike at-bats and driving in runs.
We also have to give a lot of credit to our bullpen guys because they've been coming in and keeping the game where it's at in their situations, and that allows us to come in and do what we need to production-wise offensively. That's been allowing us to win these games.
Their philosophy is straightforward. Be a good hitter on one pitch.
90% of the time when we put up big innings, there's a two-strike at-bat that somebody wins involved in that.
When you walk into the plate, what the guy did before you, if it's quality, it helps you in that at-bat, and it gives you a little confidence when you step in there knowing you can succeed.
Adaptability has been key.
When we failed, we learned from those failures early on in the season, and that's what I'm proud of them for, is taking those failures and making sure that they don't continue to happen as the season goes on, and we've turned them into a lot of success recently.
In Neosho, Danny Terzer, KOAM Sports.
Crowder is back in action this weekend, hosting a 4-game series against Three Rivers Community College. The NEO wrestling team is in its final stretch of the season. Right now, they are number 4 in the junior college national rankings. For the Norsemen, this year has been everything but normal, but they're hoping it ends with another national title. It's been a late and abbreviated season for NEO wrestling, but the end goal is the same as always.
We're always looking for the national championship, you know, and that's the first thing we talk about when they get on campus, and that's the last thing we talk about whenever they leave campus.
That's where we're wanting to be. That's where we're wanting to be.
We're shooting for the national title, whether it's districts, whether it's regionals, whether it's just a regular open tournament or a duel. I mean, we shoot to win.
The Norsemen have only competed in about half the number of competitions of a normal regular season due to the pandemic.
We really haven't been able to find that groove yet with our practices because it's just so sporadic.
It's really hard to replicate live matches in a practice room.
See how you feel better? Because that outside foot was already open.
It's hard to get a groove going. It's hard to find your momentum and keep running with that during that situation, but they're working through it. Everybody's in the same thing though. Nobody's any different. Nobody's got a competitive edge in this situation.
The NJCAA has canceled district championships scheduled for next week. That leaves the 7-time defending district champs without what is normally their final tune-up before nationals.
It's going to affect us a lot. I mean, normally our last competition is our regional competition. 2 weeks later, we're at the national tournament. Not having that situation in front of us, it's going to be different. We're going to have to figure out ways to manipulate our full potential.
Yeah, I know it doesn't feel right now, but we're in attack position right now.
With no qualifying tournament, nationals will have a different feel.
Everybody that wants to go can take one wrestler per weight, and so everybody qualifies.
It's really going to be a shot in the dark. I don't know whether my bracket will be bigger. It might even be smaller. Just we don't know how many teams are going to be able to show up to nationals.
And when I'm moving him, now I have my shot.
We got a good group of guys, and they're working really hard. And so I think that they're understanding that this is kind of the final push here.
That's perfect. Stay up on your feet.
Is that fun?
Yeah, that's perfect.
We'll see if we made mistakes or if the mistakes were too big, and we'll reevaluate it at the end of the year.
The Junior College Wrestling National Championships will begin on April 21st in Council Bluffs, Iowa. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran, Esley Pugh. The Carthage native served in the U.S. Army, and we are proud to salute Esley Pugh. He's tonight's 4-state hero. We have thousands of these heroes in our database, and you can learn about any of them. You can look them up by name or hometown. No doubt there are many of them from the town where you live. Just go to our website. It's KOAMNewsNow.com. A high-tech company says one day soon cyclists won't have to worry about flat tires. The Smarts Tire Company is showing off its metal tire. METL stands for Martensite Elasticized Tubular Loading. These tires do not need air to stay filled and can be used on roads, gravel, or mountains, they say. The tires use an elastic memory alloy that holds its initial shape. They work like the tires roaming around Mars on NASA's Curiosity rover. You know, those don't go flat. You wouldn't want that. In fact, Smart Tire fully admits the space agency's technology made this possible. Metal tires could be available for the cycling community in early 2022. It's not clear yet just how much they'll cost. Check back with Doug Heddy now for a final look at the weather.
All right, Dow, showers, some thunderstorms for us throughout the overnight hours tonight. Again, nothing too strong, nothing severe, but then periods of showers and thunderstorms again tomorrow. Chilly, kind of raw, nasty out there, high temp of 53. But we do get paid back because we're going to break out, see partly sunny skies, and a high temp near 70 on Friday.
Yeah, just in time for the weekend. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.